Hey, Stuff Dreams Are Made of fans. We are here in Beverly Hills at Heritage Auctions for the Guillermo del Toro Bleak House auction, September 26th. They have turned this Heritage display room, the Heritage lobby, into Bleak House. Just look at the paint on the walls. Everywhere you turn, something from Bleak House. Art, props, more props. It's fabulous. It's insane. You can go to ha.com, download the catalog, or may I recommend ordering a copy of the catalog because it's that special. And if you're in Beverly Hills, if you're in Los Angeles, you can come here through the 24th and check this stuff out yourself. Let's talk Guillermo del Toro. I'm here with Joe Maddalena, Exec Vice President, Heritage Auctions. I like to get the titles right, Joe. I know you don't care, but I'm here with Joe. That's what he said. He said, just say Joe. Okay,
That's
I'm here.
better.
I'm here with Joe. I'm here with
a
guy. Yeah, I'm here with a guy named Joe.
Yes.
And we're here. Yes, exactly. There you go. We're here, and I'm holding this just magnificent catalog, which, by the way, is beautiful. And another one where I'm always pleading, do a hardcover. I know you're thinking about it, but please do a hardcover. This would be a collectible for my shelf unto itself.
I think once we get through the 3 volumes, we'll probably do a special, bind them all and provide hard copies. Maybe an edition of 250, and people get all 3 volumes.
Perfect. Yeah. Perfect. Which, by the way, now you're hearing it here first. 3 auctions. So we knew at the end of this one, it says coming soon. Part 2, but we just heard there's going to be a third. So
3 installments.
3 installments. Pretty damn exciting. Do you think, and I'm not going to hold you to this, and then I want to get into everything. Do you think by the time we get to the third one, he might add something from Frankenstein, his current movie? Do you think it'll get that far, or is that too soon, or who knows?
It would be hard to even speculate.
Yeah.
I mean, like we have Frankenstein here.
Right, that's true. Yeah,
anything.
Right there, we got Frankenstein. Yeah,
anything is possible. Right. But I do think like it is in his filmography at that point, so it's possible.
Right. Joe, I just want to start with. Well, let's just start with. You've known Guillermo forever.
Long time.
You know him. Obviously, he's world famous director, writer, Oscar winner. All of that is true. But you know Guillermo the collector. You've known him forever. He's been buying it from you forever. Is that how you guys met? Just him walking in one day?
Yeah,
collecting?
like through Frank Darabont, through my relationship with Frank, and, got to know Guillermo, and just like you, kindred spirits.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, we're just collectors. 2 guys sitting around shooting the shit about what we like. We like the same thing.
Yeah. God, I like a lot of his stuff. How did this auction come about? Like, I mean, this is, I think I'm speaking for the collecting community, where we knew about Bleak House. We've seen the museum exhibit. We are lucky enough to see it here at LACMA. We knew about it. I guess everyone's just like, why is he selling? Why? What? What's going on? So how did this come about?
Well, he's talked about it over the years at different phases. He's never sold anything, not one piece, right? So this is the first time he's ever sold a thing. And he'd call me and be like, maybe I'll sell this, maybe I'll sell that. And God, it was pre-COVID. He called me one day and he said, hey, I'm going to Mexico. The exhibit's wrapping up. I have some business. Do you want to come with me? So we flew down. It was me, him, and his daughter. And we flew down, and I spent in Guadalajara, and we went through the exhibit and spent some time. And we started to have the conversations about what it could be.
Interesting.
And then years go by. Life absorbs you, and Guillermo gets in projects and stuff. And the fires were starting in Southern California this past winter. And I was flying here from my home in Colorado to visit him, and halfway through the flight, he texted me.
But you were just visiting him. Not we're going to do we're not going to do a sale. This was just, hey, Guillermo, I'm coming to visit.
We always talk about stuff.
Yeah.
Like it's one of those years goes by and you don't see each other, or come see this, I want you to show you this, or so. And halfway through the flight, he's like, the fires are raging. This is not a good time to come. And I said, I'm already halfway there. So landed at LAX, drove to his house in Santa Monica, and had got there, and he was still editing Frankenstein at that time, and he was packing the house up, right? So he was evacuating.
Wow.
And it was that somber moment, like I walked in and saw my friend sad. The fact that he had to evacuate, the fact that he was facing another fire after facing fires in Calabasas and Thousand Oaks and Malibu chasing you around. So I get there, and he has his, we have the ILM editing team from Santa Monica. So his production team is at his house, and we're packing up cars. So I'm
But just like people's SUVs
yes,
and just
yes,
regular
trunks.
yeah.
So anywhere you could
Anyone who's got a
possibly-
car, bring it
full,
over. Yeah.
full. To the point where we don't have enough seats to drive people. We had to get Ubers because the cars were so full to take the excess people to another location. So I'm like, I got this. So I'm like, so I called Brian and the gang, and we spent 8 hours repacking, organizing, and then we brought the stuff to Beverly Hills to a different house, and we put it upstairs, and we spent all night putting it away. And it was he took us all out to dinner, and then we just we're just having this continuous conversation about like I'm gonna do this. I don't know what this is yet, but we're gonna start this process. And it was that moment of like, I have fucking too much stuff. I'm ready. He goes, this is gonna be really painful for me. And we started in January. We can talk about that in a minute. It was gonna be 10 items in a catalog. I think a month later, I flew back out. We moved everything from the Beverly Hills house back to the Santa Monica house.
Okay.
Rehung everything because
It's so funny because, I mean, in a less maybe scary way, but at the moment it seemed equally scary. This is what I went through. I mean, literally,
It's
I'm
horrifying.
packing up cars. I've got friends helping me pack up cars. But by the way, we didn't even get it all out. We got out of my place. We got a lot of it out, and all I could think about was what I had to leave behind.
Well,
Yeah.
But if you think, Guillermo, let's say we don't quite know the number. Let's say there's 6,000 objects. We took out 250.
Right.
So I mean, and so we took out the most precious things. Like there was one moment where he's like, "I need my Oscars," and it was kind of like, it was kind of beautiful
Yeah.
because it was like see and take those, and it's like I just remember that moment where it was like, this is amazing. Like people don't. I mean,
But I also kind of love that there were other pieces that he went for before he went for the Oscars too, which is kind of cool. Yeah,
the Frankenstein.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
the first
right.
thing. Get the Wrightsons
Right.
out
The
of the
Wrights
house.
and Frankensteins have to be saved, and then we'll worry about Oscars.
Then maybe we'll think about Corbin and Magnolia, but the Wrightsons have got to go, Joe. And then a James Jean painting here, and it was just like we would start thinking of things like, how about this? No, like take this and
No, it's a real Sophie's choice because you are going like not this, but yes that.
here's the wall of Rackham's. We
Right.
took none.
Which-
you know, like Alice in Wonderland, where like Rackham's like you can't believe. So. We start this process, and it becomes like, let's do 10 items in a catalog. Okay. Then 15, 20 items, and I think we finally settled on 46 or 56. He kind of came up with a number that he felt comfortable with. And then this was just me and him in the houses and starting to go through this. And then it started to be like, he's a director, so this doesn't feel complete. This doesn't feel like I'm telling the story properly. So I had this idea. I'm like, why don't we do your filmography in one part of the catalog and do your collection in another part of the catalog? Okay. Because they're different. Although they do occupy Bleak House, they're completely different things. So we started with, Mimic, Kronos, and then we went right through Frankenstein with the Frankenstein play because Frankenstein was still in production, post-production. And we built out that part, and then the hard part was the back of the catalog, which is the collection, right. Which was like, when we got to like the Wrights and Meatloaf, like most people didn't know he had that. I mean, that's fabulous.
Yeah.
That's a fabulous thing just by itself, right? So then the conversation shifted to be like, how can we best represent both of your collections without harming you, as he would often tell me. I would many times jokingly, as my brother, he would curse at me because I was going too far,
right.
And he would let me know I'd gone too far over the line picking something, and it'd get to be like, and it was, and then I would go back, and like the next day he'd call me and like, we forgot this part of my story, and then it was amazing because I watched Guillermo almost like make a movie. He picked every piece out, and everything. There's a reason for each piece. There's a reason why. There's art, production. We made sure when we get to The Shape of Water, it was painful for him because it was like I need to have a big enough representation. I need to we want to make sure people understand it's not. He's giving you part of all of it.
One of the most fascinating things about this catalog that is, to me, very unique for as someone who looks at lots of prop catalogs, art catalogs, etc., is his running commentary through the catalog about each piece, why it's important to him, why he collected it, what he loves about it. I mean, obviously different reasons, but it's almost like a director's DVD commentary track of like, it's like I feel like you could have recorded him, and we could all be walking around with like a, an iPhone, listening to him, like you're in a museum, explaining every piece.
And that's what it came down to, because every piece had a story, and I'm one of the few people on earth that's heard all the stories. So when we started editing the catalog, now remember, he's getting, as this process is going along, he's getting busier and busier. Frankenstein is locked. He's going into like Venice, like all of this is happening, and in the world of like putting together an auction. So this is getting complicated, because we were going to have the auction like April or May, and we just could not. We didn't have enough objects picked out, and the timing wasn't right. So it's kind of a miracle we got it in before Frankenstein premieres to the world, or premiered in Venice.
There was a half a minute where you had told me the date, but nothing was on the website. And I did wonder. I didn't email you, but I did wonder to myself, like, I wonder if Frankenstein just got too big. You know what I mean?
It wasn't even so much that. It was just like we weren't done yet.
Yeah.
Like neither one of us felt like making a movie together. Or any way to say it, neither one of us felt like we had the right ingredients to tell this story. Right. Now, and this is just our ingredients, right? Somebody might want something different or want something, but it was very important to me that this wasn't a commercial venture. This is something that represented his career, his life. It's not the biggest auction I've ever done, but it's probably my favorite in terms of like living through this process and knowing how sentimentally he attached is to every one of these things is incredible.
One of the most fascinating things is, obviously, you have done collections, like single consignor collections, et cetera, et cetera. A lot of times the person is already deceased, so obviously they're not involved in any way, shape, or form. They had a lovely career and they're selling stuff off. And sometimes even when they're collectors, okay, here's my collection, I'm letting this stuff go, whatever it is. There's a reason, blah, 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 blah. In this case, though, as you said, there's two stories here. There's the story of the stuff that he makes, the films, his filmography. But there's also the story of him, a collector. And the dance between the two, where you realize that the things he's collecting are influencing the movies he's making, and the movies he's making are influencing the things he's collecting. And that dance, it's just wonderful. And it's so personal, and not just the stories here, the items. We picked out two items here that I think are pretty special. Why don't, just in case people don't know, like haven't looked at the catalog yet, tell us what these two items are, and tell us about what and why. Because this to me, and I want to say this really clearly, watch our other videos, download the catalog, check it all out. We're going to show you everything. We're going to show you the Frankenstein plates, we're going to show you the Mignola stuff, we're going to show you gun, like Hellboy's coat. Big Baby from Hellboy. You're going to see it all in the other videos. Yes. But we're starting here, and we're starting for a reason.
Sure. You've asked me this about why we're doing this, and we talked about the fire and stuff, but what was interesting, as Guillermo and I would sit like this day after day by ourselves and just talk about this, we would brainstorm, like, what would you want to find in this auction? How can I... Because him and I always have this philosophical conversation about, can you separate the director from the collector?
I'm not sure you can.
No, I don't think you can. But in his case, those two beings so occupy his world. And I wanted to have things in the auction that were not the obvious. Like, obviously we have amazing things from Hellboy and Pacific Rim.
It's a heck of a prop auction. It's great.
It's all that's good and fine and dandy. But so these notebooks are probably his prized possession. When we went to evacuate the house, the first thing he said was, "My God, get my notebooks." So in 1997, he went to Venice to mimic. To show it to the world, and in his downtime, he walked around and he went to a bookstore and he bought a pile of these, And they're
These
beautiful.
are like these handmade,
these
leather-bound
leather
notebooks. I
Venetian
think
notebooks.
they said the name of the place was like Biblios or something like that. Yeah,
And they're beautiful. It's so Guillermo, right? It's so him, right? And
they're human flesh.
yeah. Demonic flesh.
Yeah, exactly.
But Guillermo, when he is in his process, will go through his home. He has a fabulous library, and he'll start taking books and things from his world of people that he admires, Lovecraft and whoever these Shelley, and he'll go to his dining room table in his house where he works from, and he starts reading them for inspiration. And then once he, I think, is inspired, let's say it's working on movie X, Guillermo is a unique. He's kind of like Kurosawa because Guillermo writes, directs, does the art. I mean, he's a Renaissance man. He does it all. So these notebooks contain all of his dialogue, his artwork, his concept designs for the characters. So when you see them in the world at an institution, they're unbelievable.
Right.
So he thought about, what if we do one of the notebooks? And I'm like, that's great. I said, however, I think we got to go one step further. I said, why don't you draw a sketch? Because he loves to sketch. Yeah. And then he goes, I've got it. So I'm sitting across from him, and he gets out his pen, and he's doing this. I don't know what he's doing.
Right, because you're here. You're me.
Yeah, he hands it to me, and it's like, so you got to understand, this is when this process started, January 25th, 1925.
So that's basically a couple of weeks after the fire.
Yeah, right
like
after
not
the fires.
even.
Yeah. So 125-25. In 1977, I went to Venice to show Mimic. During the festival, I used the time there to look for perfect notebook, and I bought a few, enough to last me a lifetime. I thought with Frankenstein, I am halfway through my next to last one, and this one should go to someone who values it. Handmade, number 33 of 600. May it become as sacred and cherished as it is, as its siblings have been for me, Guillermo del Toro, and it's amazing. Like the siblings became Pan's Labyrinth, and it became Shape of Water, and became Frankenstein. So I just think that this is
This is your chance.
It is your chance, and but he really means that. Like if you just want to have this and never writing it again, but if you're in the craft and you want the ultimate inspiration to write your thing, my God, buy this and write your thing, because it's like this is what he would be. This is what
pure Guillermo juju coming out.
He wants that to be in this. He wants you to have.
He wants you to create a movie or a show
anything,
or whatever, anything,
or a life, whatever it is. So that is to me extremely unique. We'll probably never do another one.
Can I see that?
Sure.
Just fabulous. And truly, as you said, just beautiful. But yeah, really special. And I do love the little Guillermo sketch too. I mean, that's wonderful. And this pairs up so well with this.
Yes.
Yeah. There's a little bit of a legend. I should start with this fact. There's a legend that Guillermo hosts these incredible model building parties
every Sunday.
Okay, and that like people like Steven Spielberg and J.J. Abrams are known to drop in and do a model.
A lot of directors.
Yep.
A lot of I would say household names that paint. So it's funny because on Sundays I have to check his schedule because it's like he might paint longer than he wanted to, right? So it's we'll have an appointment at 1. Come at 4:30. I'm inspired.
Right.
So he in his kitchen in one of the houses, he's converted it into a studio, and he has this beautiful round table with chairs, and they each take model kits, and he searches the world for model kits. Like equally enthusiastic for Zeta as his model kit, maybe more. Of all the things in this auction, the one thing he kept coming back to me about is this. I'm shocked it's in the auction.
This is the one, like he kept almost pulling it. I love it. I love it.
It's like this. I don't know why, but it was just like so. And he has other model kits, so we had other ones in the auction, and finally at the end he's like, I'll give you the Harryhausen. But this was a dialogue he was having with himself, not me.
Right.
I was like, so there was something about this that he wanted it to be Harryhausen. He wanted it to be this thing, but
I've heard him speak in other interviews, and early Harryhausen that he watched, like I guess on Mexican television, is as much a reason that we can thank Harryhausen for Guillermo del Toro as probably as much as anything. Yeah.
And Forey Ackerman. So those are his two inspirations. Probably Forey more than anybody, and on Sundays, the directors sit at the table and they paint. And Guillermo, if you get when you see Frankenstein, when you see the sets, he talks about it. He's painting. When they're painting, when the set deck people in there, Guillermo's painting. He's placing the books on the shelves. It's not control.
Right.
It's like he sees it. He has a unique.
This is where it's supposed to be.
Yeah, in the context of that shot. So here's a chance to get something. I can't tell you how personal this is for him.
Hand built and glued by him,
yes.
And then hand painted, and by the way, a beautiful job. By the way,
and just and like the Notebook, if you want something that is the collectible thing, but if you want something that is so near and dear to like him as a being, I mean, this is it. I mean, it's like, I can't express how important it is to him.
I love it. These two, they're kind of the totems of the entire auction in kind of a cool way.
Because we could talk about the six-figure this and that. It's
and
like,
we will. We're going to show you everything.
Right. But it's like, I just want to really express to people, like, this has been a very difficult process for him. And we've talked about, like, there will be a trilogy. So we thought that would be important to tell people that after 3 there'll be no more. The initial discussions are we're going to trim the collection by a third. Okay. So like maybe we'll sell another 1,200 objects. That'll be it. I think after that someday these will probably end up in a museum. But I think it'll be more of a mixture. We'll probably kind of follow the same path where it's like another portion of the career. Probably we'll have to dive more into the collection, which is going to be really painful for him. But I think there's an interview somewhere where he talks about like how painful the first one is, and somebody asked him, and he said the second one's going to be like giving up blood.
The third one will be like giving up bone marrow. It's not going to get better. Yeah. So let me ask you the one final question, because I'm curious. Is he like me? Is he like you, with one hand as he's like, okay, I'm selling, I'm getting rid of a third, whatever. Is he also, of course, still acquiring?
It's interesting because it was in Venice last week, and he was about to acquire something. And we had to have an exchange about, like this acquisition, and it was... he's never going to stop collecting.
I love it.
This is not about stopping
right.
collecting. I do hope for his sake, though, we don't sell 6,000 and he ends up at 7,000.
Right.
Because we're back to square one.
But you said something really interesting to me when we were talking before, which is, he could sell this, he doesn't have to sell it. I mean, he could have a 4th house, he could have a 5th house, whatever. But he really does feel in a really cool way, not just obviously like, okay, maybe I do have too much stuff, maybe the fire was difficult. But he wants to share this stuff, like collector to collector, which is kind of a cool thing.
Well, that's why he did all the exhibits. Think about what a hassle it is to do these exhibits. You're not getting paid. Right. Your stuff's out of your position. For a year, you don't get to see it.
Right, in a scary way, you don't get to see your stuff.
Yeah, they're moving it, probably breaking things. Like, it's out of your control. Things can happen. So it's not like you're giving one thing. His exhibits were massive, right? And I think that, these objects mean so much to him that he wants them to go to the next generation. He wants somebody to take something from... He wants you to have Bleak House.
Right.
Like, we painted these wall oxblood. I can't tell you how many paint samples I looked at, and how many times this office sent me a paint sample. No, it's not
more
the right
blood,
color.
more ox.
Tammy, who's our office manager who runs Beverly Hills, I think wanted to kill me because I'm like, no, it's the wrong color. So finally we got the, and I sent Guillermo a sample, and he goes, you should put that on the website. Everybody has to paint like this has to go. And
right,
so,
if you buy a prop, it has to be displayed in an oxblood wall.
In Bleak House. Yeah. So the even if you buy one thing, you have a piece of Bleak House. So that was the thing he wants to really get across, is that, like, you're now part of the ride. You're forever intertwined with him. 90% of the material in this auction has been on exhibit in a major museum. That's very important to him, and he wants the next collector to understand that they too are temporary custodian.
Right.
It's their obligation. When you get this,
there's
you take
for a
care
while,
of this,
and then you pass it on.
Yes, to the next person to take care of it, so it lives forever, because these are culturally important artifacts, some more than others, and some very important. I think that's the thing. I think he's most proud of, like, I've said this before, like the geeks, I'll speak for me. We finally made it, Dave.
Yeah, big time.
Big time.
Yeah, no, this is incredible. I'm just going to say September 26th is the auction in Dallas. You can bid on the phone, you can bid on the computer. Go to ha.com, download a copy of the catalog, order a copy of the catalog. If you're lucky enough to be in Los Angeles, September 26th, it's going to be on display here in Beverly Hills through almost the end of September.
Starts today.
Literally starting today. The 11th
to the 25th.
To the 25th, and there's a little party on the 26th.
On the 18th.
Oh, on the 18th. So,
auctions,
yep.
but the party on the 26th. The
Auction is 26th.
Okay,
Yes,
so
sorry.
On the 18th. But
Party of the 18th.
But come
auction is
to
26th.
see it.
Yeah.
Bleak House here. We turned the whole, 4,000 foot gallery into Bleak House. The entire auction is on display, which is unusual to see everything in one place.
Yeah.
But come see it. It'll never happen again.
It's pretty incredible. Check out the rest of our videos to see more of the Bleak House.